you know, but an example of how I don't feel is sometimes I'll have a toothache and my teeth start hurting. Well, when my teeth start hurting, I know I have a headache. And so when my teeth start hurting, I'll think to myself, I better have a headache. And I'll think about it for a minute or two, and I realize I have a terrible headache, and I've had it for several days. And people say, well, you just don't feel headaches? I don't feel like other people. I just don't. Why? I don't know. I just don't feel. But my wife feels for me. She lives in a constant feeling. When I'm talking to Karen on the phone when she's in the car, I'm getting a rundown on everybody in her life that she's passing. Every bump in the road, all the traffic, all the people who pull in front of her. And sometimes when we're talking on the phone when she's driving, I just have to say, focus, focus. I just want to talk about what we're having for supper. I don't want to hear about everybody on the road. Okay. We were eating dinner one night. We were eating at a restaurant, and we had a bad waitress. She was just a bad waitress. And she's slow. We couldn't find her. She got the order wrong, all that kind of stuff. And so I realized about halfway through dinner that Karen was focused on that waitress. And I knew what was about to happen. I've lived with a sister many years, so I knew it was about to happen. And I said, leave it alone. And she said, no, there's something wrong with that waitress. I'm going to find out what it is. I said, leave it alone. We're going to eat and go. We're not here to fix anybody tonight. Okay, we're just going to eat and leave. Okay, and we will feel like we've achieved something. It wasn't 2 seconds that waitress was over, and Karen had all of her personal history and ministered to her. And and when it was over, I just thought, well, that was real touching. You know, that was great. But her emotions make me nervous. To this day, they just make me nervous, you know, because I just don't feel. But so we're different. We're different. Well, here's what happened. Early in our marriage, I would just say, you're weird. What's wrong with you? You feel too much. You're not supposed to feel everything, you know? And I would just shame her, and she did the same with me. We just rejected each other. And when we were hurting each other, that's what we did. And then as our marriage matured, I remember the conversation that we had one day, and Karen said to me, she said, Jimmy, I am sorry. I am so sorry for how I feel. I know it bothers you. I know that you think that I feel too much. And I'm going to try not to. I'm sorry. And here's what I said to Karen, and I meant it from the bottom of my heart. Karen, I need someone like you in my life. Please don't stop feeling. See, in marriage, there are rejected differences, there are tolerated differences, and there are celebrated differences. The healing takes place when you start celebrating your differences. Karen and I are a great team. We really are a great team. As a family unit, what I do really well, Karen doesn't care much about. What Karen does really well, I don't care that much about. We do some things together, obviously, and we enjoy being together. But we make such a good team. See, a good team is not made up of people who do the same things. There's only one quarterback. You know, there's only one person who plays each position, but you have to have all the positions to make a team. I don't need someone like me. I need someone different. But the problem is we're looking for someone who is our compatible opposite when we're dating. As soon as we get them, we begin to shame them and reject them because they're not like us. Because we don't understand what God is doing. In my case, emotions. Karen is supplying in my life what's lacking. So when Karen feels, after 43 years of marriage, when Karen feels today, I don't shame her, reject her. I listen to it. In fact, I go to Karen sometimes and say, tell me how I'm feeling. And I don't know. I'll say, how am I feeling about this? And Karen will say, well, you're feeling this. I'll think, really? Yeah. Think about it for a little while. I think that's what I'm feeling. She's an expert feeler. She's just a great feeler. Jimmy Evans, you want to get it done? I'm your guy. I'm an achiever. I'm going to get it done. I'll kill some people in the meanwhile, but I'll get it done. Thank God for Karen. She's kept me out of so much trouble. You are wired to find your opposite, celebrate it, don't reject it. Well, I hope that teaching blesses you. It's called The Healing Journey of Marriage, and God designed marriage to heal us. Now, that's hard for a lot of people to believe. Early in our marriage, Karen and I wounded each other, and many people experience that. But when you do it correctly, marriage heals you. That's the way God designed it. That's the purpose of this teaching is to help us to understand that. So I hope it blesses you. You know, we're a ministry, we're a mission. We go across America, around the world, helping people understand God's design for marriage and how they can thrive in marriage. And we also want to keep little children's parents together, to keep families together. That's what we do. And we need your financial help right now for your gift of any amount to help us with the mission and ministry of Marriage Today. We want to send you this message right here, the full message. You just heard part of it today. The CD single or the MP3 download. We'll get that to you for your gift of any amount to help us here at Marriage Today. Also, for your gift of $55 or more, we'll send you the Strength-Based Marriage book. Tremendous resource, and it also has over 2 hours of video resource footage as a part of the book. It comes with the book. Alan Kelsey and I have written this book to help people understand their strengths and how we differ in marriage. But when you understand it, how it really builds a strong marriage. And also, with your gift of $55 or more, we're going to send you the Lifelong Love Affair CD series. It's another seminar that I do, just more blessing, more understanding in marriage. And for your gift of $90 or more, we're going to send you the Strength-Based Marriage book along with Lifelong Love Affair, but it's the DVD series. 4-part, gonna bless you, gonna help your marriage. And maybe you know someone that they're struggling in their marriage, maybe someone's single or divorced or just struggling in their marriage, and you want to get these resources for yourself and maybe pass them on to somebody else or even give them as a gift. Right now, as you give to Marriage Today, you're helping us to take this message back to you, also around the world, as we also want to bless you. Here's how you can get these resources.
Discover you and your spouse's unique strengths and how they affect every part of your relationship. Strengths-Based Marriage, a new book from Jimmy Evans and Gallup certified strengths coach Alan Kelsey, takes the concepts from the popular Clifton StrengthsFinder assessment and applies them to marriage.
There are 34 strengths that describe the way that you are motivated to behave in any given situation.
Understanding your strengths and how they relate to marriage is life-changing.
Support Marriage Today with your best online gift of any amount, and we'll send you the healing journey of marriage. Get the book Strengths-Based Marriage for your gift of $55 or more. Over 2 hours of video footage from the authors is included with the book purchase. We'll also include Jimmy's popular CD series, Lifelong Love Affair. For your gift of $90 or more, you'll receive the Strengths-Based Marriage book with video footage, plus the entire Lifelong Love Affair series on DVD. Build a stronger relationship by understanding each other's gifts. Get your copy today.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Evans. This is my co-author, Alan Kelsey, and we have written the book, Strengths-Based Marriage. We want to kind of go more in depth on these teachings to help you. And the chapter that I chose is The Secret of Successful Communication. And in The Secret of Successful Communication, Alan, the thing I like about my part in the chapter, and you wrote a phenomenal part in the chapter related to strengths, but the most important need of a man is the need for respect. And the most important need of a woman is the need for security. I know that when a woman feels secure, she's at ease. She feels happy. When a man is respected, he's happy. If you take security away from a woman and honor away from a man, you can give them just about anything else, they're not happy.
Wow.
Okay? So a sacrificial, sensitive man makes his wife feel secure. And by sacrificial and sensitive, it means I'm connected. And no one else is more important than you.
Yeah.
And I'll sacrifice. I'll say no to work. I'll say no to friends to say yes to you. And so when a man is communicating with his wife, the words don't matter if you're not speaking her language of security. You can say anything you want to say. And so early in our marriage, I was golfed all the time, worked all the time. My heart was not at home. And Karen would come and talk to me, and she was fishing for my heart. You know, she was trying to get me to reconnect to her, the kids, just the well-being of the home. And I saw her as being a nag, unhappy, just being disrespectful.
Yeah.
So I completely rejected that. Well, we spent years in our marriage frustrated until I learned what I said wasn't the issue, is I was not making her feel secure. That's why I couldn't communicate with her. In other words, you could be a masterful communicator, but if you're an idiot, it doesn't matter. And so I was not a masterful communicator, but I was an idiot. So until I realized that when I'm talking with Karen, regardless of what the issue is, I have to encrypt my words with a spirit, with an attitude that says you come first.
So that had to be an intentional action. I mean, you had to just decide
Absolutely.
you were going to do that.
Well, but it's part of realizing the difference in your spouse. See, our whole book is about differences.
That's right.
And strengths. So we're different by God's design. That's what our book is about, is we're different by God's design, and it's respecting that difference that turns a dangerous difference into a dynamic difference.
That's right.
I'll talk about your part of the chapter.
Well, you know, you did such a great job setting up the front half of the chapter, talking about these two mega needs. And I picked up on this idea of what you say and how you say it. And I felt like, from a strength perspective, some of the greatest value we can bring is to identify these two very natural things that we do as people, whether we're even aware of it or not. And one of them is to kind of play down the strong parts of who we are, because we get told, you know, that's too sharp. You need to just soften that a little bit for the sake of everybody else. But you know very well, as an ice skater, if you round off the sharp edge of the blade on your ice skates, you're useless. You're going to fall all over the place. You're going to end up with a, wet behind. But I mean, you put a clean, sharp edge on the blade of on that skate, and people can do miraculous things on a slippery surface that you ought never to be able to do. They can leap off the ice. They can land on one leg. They can spin and twirl. These things shouldn't be able to happen. But it's because there's an edge there. But the world says your edge is scary. You need to shave it off. And so we shrink back. We minimize our strengths. And that's one of the tendencies that we do. And I think it's bad for us. It's bad for our marriages. And the other idea that I talk about in the book is that we tend to project our strengths. Now, projecting our strengths is probably worse than minimizing. Minimizing hurts me. Projecting hurts you. And I basically say that you're not okay until you see the world the way I see it.
That's very common.
And boy, we just do that to each other all the time. We do it to our kids. We do it to our coworkers. We certainly do it to our spouse. And I just wanted to point those two things out from a strength perspective to help folks understand, man, I'm doing this and I don't even know I'm doing it.
Well, I believe you're getting the best of Alan Kelsey and Jimmy Evans in this book, Strengths-Based Marriage, along with all of the expertise of the Clifton Strengths Finder to help you to understand your strengths, your spouse's strengths, and to have a stronger marriage. Thank you for joining us. God bless you. Hi, I'm Jimmy Evans, and I want to invite you to join Marriage Today for a global, life-changing event that is sure to reignite love and passion in the marriages in your community. I'm talking about becoming a simulcast host site for XO Conference 2017 on February 10th and 11th for the world's largest marriage event. Join Karen and me, along with our friend Shannon Etheridge, John Gray, and some special surprise guests. For the first time, your church will have the opportunity to simulcast the XO Conference's Friday daytime sessions. That's 4 extra speakers you'll hear from on topics like sex and intimacy, conflict resolution, blended families, and more. Karen and I will also conclude the simulcast with our signature vow renewal. Hosting is easy, and Marriage Today will help equip you with everything you need to host a successful simulcast. Apply to host today at marriagetoday.com/simulcast. Together, we can restore the dream of marriage. Well, Alan Kelsey is the strength expert. We've written the book, Strength-Based Marriage, and I wrote it from the perspective of marriage. He wrote it from the perspective of taking our strengths, 34 strengths. Karen and I are very different, and we're different by God's design. See, a lot of people have the misconception of believing that compatibility means that we're the same in marriage. That's not what compatibility means. We are different by God's design. God wired us to find our compatible opposite. And compatibility means we have the same basic beliefs in God. We have the same basic values in life. We have the same basic character, and we believe in the same basic things, and we want the same things for our future and for our children and things like that. That's what makes you compatible. But regardless of how compatible you are, and I hope you're compatible, you're very different. We have different strengths. Karen's number 1 strength is my number 34. And my number 1 strength is Karen's number 34. And early in our marriage, we fought like cats and dogs. We rejected each other. We judged each other. We didn't realize that we were a team. That, when you put a team together, you don't want one person playing every position. In other words, you don't want 11 quarterbacks on the football field. You have one quarterback, and then you have tackles and guards and ends and everybody else. But somehow in marriage, we think that a good team means we're both just alike. Well, that's not it at all. When God created Adam in Genesis chapter 2, God said it's not good for that man to be alone. I'm going to create a helper. It means aider. It means someone to supply what's lacking. Eve wasn't another Adam like this. She complemented him. She was equal, but she complemented him. That's the way God designed marriage. We hope that this program has been a blessing to you. There's going to be a reminder in just a minute about the resources that we're offering today, the Strength-Based Marriage book. I hope you'll get that. It will really bless you. Let me also say that the heart of this ministry, the backbone of our ministry financially, are our precious partners that stand with us every month. They give to us every single month. We have different levels. They're going to find out in just a minute how you can become a partner with us if you're not a partner already. But I just want to say thank you to those of you who do support us financially. We can't do what we do without you. There's a world in need. Marriages are under attack like never before. But we're here to give hope and encouragement to couples, to singles, to young people, that you can make it in marriage. You have a 100% chance of success in marriage when you do it God's way. Become a partner with us, and here's how you can do it.
When you stand with Marriage Today, your individual effort multiplies with other like-minded partners. And together, we can rebuild the dream of marriage for couples around the world. Being a rock-solid partner with Marriage Today grants you immediate access to an exclusive library of the ministry's resources and intimately connects you with our mission of helping couples succeed in marriage.
That's really why we became Rock Solid Partners, just because there was so much available to help us to help other marriages heal the way that we have.
That's why we're tied into the ministry. We want to be able to bless and give so they can keep doing what they're doing.
You're guaranteed if you listen to any of the resources, you read the resources, you come to a conference, you will be changed.
Everyone has something to give, and there are millions of unreached couples who desperately need the marriage-strengthening resources of Marriage Today. That's why we need you to join us. Become a rock-solid partner with the ministry and mission of Marriage Today.
Thank you for watching Marriage Today with Jimmy and Karen.
Support Marriage Today with your best gift and receive the Strengths-Based Marriage book and Lifelong Love Affair.
Become an official host site of EXO 2017. Join hundreds of other churches as we bring the EXO Global Simulcast to thousands of couples around the world. Host this event at your church by visiting marriagetoday.com/simulcasts.
Connect with Marriage Today online at marriagetoday.com, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Become a rock-solid partner today and connect with the mission of Marriage Today. Together, we can help couples succeed in marriage.
This program is made possible by the generous support of our faithful partners.
TBN is covering the U.S. with not just one, but 6 over-the-air networks. If you live in a city with a TBN station, you can get these over-the-air channels free by hooking up an antenna to your home. Just purchase an indoor or outdoor antenna from your local hardware store, connect it to your TV, and you're good to go. You'll then be able to access TBN on Sub-Channel 1, the Hillsong Channel on Sub-Channel 2, Smile of a Child and Juice on Sub-Channel 3, Enlace on Sub-Channel 4, and our newest network, TBN Salsa on Sub-Channel 5. If you already have satellite or cable, you can switch between these services and your antenna and get the best of both worlds. Hook up today and enjoy not 1, but 6 TBN channels free of charge.
As we spread the gospel around the world, you want to become not only a partner in name, but you want to sow your seed and your resources into this great ministry to help us get thousands, millions even saved around the world. It's your chance to be a part of the gospel mission.
Here are 2 ways you can support TBN. First, create a living legacy by giving a percentage of your estate or a dollar amount to TBN through our estate planning program. Second, if you're 65 years of age or older, you can earn higher interest on your investments as part of TBN's lifetime charitable gift annuity program. For more information on estate planning or charitable gift annuities, contact TBN's Living Legacy Department online. Saturday on TBN. When budget cuts eliminates a high school's theater department, several students come together to produce a musical based on stories from an unlikely source. Uncommon. TBN Saturday.
I'm Dr. Doug Weiss from Colorado Springs, and I want to wish you a very happy TBN New Year. You and God have a great year ahead of you.
Next, watch Jewish Voice, where Rabbi Bernis teaches about the Jewish roots of Christianity.
Happy New Year from the Trinity Broadcasting Network.